announcement of Dragon Ball Super getting the more work, as well as the remake, the entire Dragon Ball community has been very active. With all the announcements made, one singular announcement stuck out in particular with a brand new Dragon Ball game being announced. Age 1000. This game trailer has blown up all over TikTok and other platforms, with the main character of the game being plastered throughout, with everybody asking one singular question. Who is this guy? I love how throughout this entire small era, we've went from slandering John. Yes, his name is John. However, sadly, I heard that I think it's just a placeholder as well as the name of the game too. So Age 1000 and John are just not the final names. As much as we all would love him to be named John, but John has had a pretty weird era on TikTok. From him being slandered horrendously to being outright glazed. From the whole "who is this" images all over TikTok comments to John will solo your verse, with him even crossing universes to change various events or just destroying the strongest character in that verse. I love how we know nothing about this guy, but we've given this man his own fucking catchphrase with "keep it 1000", as well as giving him a full name with John Dragon Ball, which is such a perfect name. Also, the images and fan art made for this man has just been a blessing to look at. I think what blew John up so much is because we had such big announcements like the Mono arc, plus the Dragon Ball Super remake that's coming out later this year. This was just a giant high for us fans. But the new game announcement was just kind of a curveball that just came out of nowhere. Because everyone was expecting Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 to be announced just for us to see a new game project. And our smiles almost instantly dropped or faded into confusion. Nah, I didn't think Xenoverse 3 was ever going to get announced, but seeing everybody post about Xenoverse 3 being announced, I genuinely kind of got hype. But now that that hype has died down, we've all started to realize that this isn't Xenoverse 3. However, people have been talking about how if it's set in Age 1000, which is basically what era of Dragon Ball something's in, kind of like a calendar for Dragon Ball events. For example, Dragon Ball Super is set in Age 778, I believe. It's pretty far into the future, is what I'm trying to say, as well as being set at the same time as an old Dragon Ball MMO RPG game called Dragon Ball Online, which people have been theorizing that Dragon Ball Online might be connected to Age 1000, especially since John is seen mimicking moves from previous characters from the show. We don't really have much news or information on Age 1000, however, we are getting way more info during April of this year because of the Battle Hour that's happening, which is kind of like an esports tournament type thing where Dragon Ball games are played and announcements are made. So I might be making a follow-up video if I care enough about it. Also, if you enjoy me making Dragon Ball content, I'm pretty open to making more content. As someone who's been a Dragon Ball fan for a long time, I grew up with the franchise, and it was actually my first ever anime because I remember being a little kid just watching the Raditz fight with Piccolo, Goku there. But yeah, overall, that's all I had to say for this. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Toodles.